£200,000. Say it out loud and it sounds like winning the lottery. Statistically, this puts you in the top 1% of earners in Britain. You are, on paper, doing better than 99% of the population. But here's the twist. Depending on your postcode, £200,000 a year can make you feel like a local king, commanding a 5-bedroom house with a garden the size of a small park. Or it can make you feel like just another squeezed professional, renting a flat, paying private school fees, and wondering where all the money actually went. Today we're breaking down exactly what this salary buys you, city by city, and why the same number on a payslip can mean two completely different lives. Before we talk about lifestyle, we need to talk about HMRC, because they're taking a serious bite first. On a salary of £200,000 in the 2026 tax year, here's the anatomy of your deductions. First, income tax. You'll pay the basic rate, the higher rate, and then the additional rate of 45% on everything earned above £125,140. Then there's national insurance, sitting at 2% on earnings above the upper threshold. But here's the part most people don't know about, and it's brutal. It's called the 60% tax trap. Between £100,000 and £125,140, you don't just pay 40% tax, you also lose your personal allowance, the tax-free chunk everyone normally gets, at a rate of £1 for every £2 earned. Stack that lost allowance on top of the 40% rate, and your effective marginal tax rate in that band balloons to 60%. For every additional pound you earn in that zone, 60 pence vanishes before you even see it. Once you're clear of that trap and into the additional rate territory above £125,140, you're paying 45% on the top slice, plus national insurance, plus you've already lost your full personal allowance permanently. After income tax, national insurance, and a standard pension contribution, say around 5%, your £200,000 gross collapses down to a monthly take-home of roughly £9,500. That's your real number. That's what's actually landing in your account each month. And now, the fun part. Where do you spend it? Let's start in the capital, because London changes everything. Picture a 2-bedroom flat in Kensington or Battersea. Not a mansion, just a solid, modern 2-bedroom. Current market rents for that kind of property are sitting around £4,000 a month. That's nearly half your take-home pay, gone, before you've bought a single coffee. Now add a child in private school. Average fees for a London prep school now run at roughly £2,000 a month per child, after the recent VAT changes pushed costs even higher. Add those two numbers together, and you're already at £6,000 a month, out of £9,500. You haven't paid for food, transport, childcare, or a single holiday yet. This is why, in London, £200,000 a year doesn't feel like wealth. It feels like normal. It's the price of admission just to live a standard professional life with one child in the right school, golden handcuffs. Because you're earning a fortune, but you're locked into spending almost all of it just to maintain the basics. Now, let's fly north. Same salary, same £9,500 a month take home. But in areas like Didsbury and Manchester, or Altrincham, the calculation flips entirely. For roughly the same monthly outlay as that London rental, here you could be servicing a mortgage on a 5-bedroom detached house, the kind with a driveway, a double garage, and a garden big enough for a trampoline, a vegetable patch, and a dog that actually has space to run. Private school fees, if you choose them, are noticeably lower than London equivalents, and once housing and education are sorted, the disposable income left over is substantial. We're talking proper European holidays, 3 or 4 times a year, a nice car on finance, maybe even 2, weekend trips without a second thought. This is the Northern King lifestyle. Same income as your London counterpart, but instead of fighting for space and watching your bank balance evaporate, you're living with genuine breathing room. The stress of London, the constant low hum of everything is too expensive, simply isn't there. Edinburgh deserves its own category, because Scotland runs its own income tax bands, and they're higher than England's for top earners. If you're a Scottish taxpayer on £200,000, your effective tax rate is slightly steeper than someone in an identical role in London or Manchester, thanks to the Scottish additional rate. But what do you get for it? Living in the West End, or Morningside, puts you in some of the most architecturally stunning streets in Britain: Georgian townhouses, leafy crescents, a 5-minute walk to world-class restaurants, theatres, and the Fringe Festival every August. The trade-off is what we'd call the Scottish premium. You're paying slightly more tax, and property in these specific postcodes commands a premium for the heritage and location. But the cultural dividend, the sheer quality of daily life, the festivals, the architecture, the walkability, is something money genuinely can't replicate everywhere else in Britain. Then there's the middle ground. Areas like Clifton in Bristol, which has spent the last decade gentrifying into one of the most desirable urban villages in the country. All Georgian terraces, independent coffee shops, and a strong professional crowd. Or Solihull, just outside Birmingham, which has become a magnet for high earners who want a short commute into the city's financial and professional hubs, without the price tag of the city centre itself. In both cases, £200,000 buys you a genuinely upper-middle lifestyle. A large family home, good schools without necessarily needing to go private, and a social scene that punches well above what you'd expect for the cost of living. It's the best of both worlds: tier, city access, suburban space, and a noticeably lower cost base than London or even parts of the northwest. Now, regardless of where you live, there's a layer of costs that hits every high earner the same way. Council tax on a Band G or Band H property, the kind of house that comes with this income bracket, can run into several £1,000s a year, regardless of postcode. Then there's private health insurance. As NHS waiting lists remain a national talking point, more high earners are taking out family health cover, which for a family of 4 can easily run into hundreds of pounds a month. And then, the Waitrose tax. This is the unofficial term for the lifestyle creep that happens once you're earning this much. You stop buying the supermarket's own brand. You start doing a proper food shop, organic, premium, convenient, and your grocery bill quietly doubles compared to the national average. Multiply that by 52 weeks, and it's a genuinely significant annual cost that barely shows up on anyone's radar until they actually total it up. Here's the lesson that ties this whole video together. £200,000 a year income is not the same as being wealthy. Picture two people. The first is a high-flying professional in London, earning £200,000, renting, with no property, modest savings, and high fixed costs, eating most of their take-home every month. On paper, they're a top earner. In reality, they're one redundancy away from serious financial stress. Now picture someone in the north, perhaps earning half that salary, but living in a paid-off home. No mortgage, no rent, low council tax, and genuinely low monthly outgoings. The second person, despite earning far less, is wealthier. They have security. They have optionality. They could stop working tomorrow and survive for years. The first person, despite the impressive payslip, has almost none of that freedom. Income is a flow. Wealth is a stock. And in modern Britain, postcode determines how efficiently your flow converts into stock. So, what does £200,000 a year actually buy you in 2026? The honest answer is, it depends entirely on where you choose to spend it. In London, it buys you a comfortable but tightly stretched professional life. In Manchester or Leeds, it buys you a genuinely luxurious lifestyle with space and freedom. In Edinburgh, it buys you culture and heritage at a premium. In Bristol or Birmingham, it buys you balance. The real lesson here isn't about tax bands, or rental prices, or council tax bands. It's about choice. In Britain, your lifestyle isn't determined by what you earn. It's determined by where you choose to spend it. And that, more than any number on a payslip, is the postcode lottery that actually matters. If you learned something from this video, like and don't forget to hit subscribe.